Wow, this is so nice. Oh my gosh. Honestly, this is how I decorate if a guy was coming over. So nice to be here. Give it up for the gels and the lights. This is what we want. We want beautiful lighting. This is basically why I got into showbiz, for this type of lighting. Yeah, it's kind of romantic, right? If you have your eye on anyone tonight, make a move. But then when you're leaving, just like grab their hand and like go into like a drugstore or a bodega real quick and be like, this is what I really look like. Okay? Do you accept? And he's like, yeah, I do. And you're like, I fucking love. I'm feeling extra awesome because I went to a museum last week. Cultured. Yeah, feeling extra smart. My favorite thing to do at a museum, you guys should try this too. I like to just like burst in through the doors and go, hey, what is all this stuff? Tell me. And then the security guard is like, where do I begin? Come with me. And that's how I make friends. I love an educational scenario. It's so much fun. I was thinking about cilantro. Do you guys have you guys heard about this enzyme that if you eat cilantro, for some people they might have an enzyme where it tastes like soap? You heard about that? Yeah. I got an enzyme where I don't believe that shit. Say it, I don't believe you. We're going for Thai food, we're going for Mexican food, and we're gonna have the works. It tastes like soap. No, it does not. It tastes good. It tastes good. It tastes good, and you're fine with that. You're fine with that. Do you know what I'm really pumped for? House parties. I think, this summer, if you guys have a house party coming up, invite me, okay? I'd really like to go. But don't worry, I won't be like this. I won't be too much at your house party. I'll be like this. Cool. That's the vibe I'll bring. And no one can argue with that vibe. Pretty neutral vibe. My favorite thing to do at house parties is over the course of the evening, just slowly rearrange the furniture to how I'd like it to be. You gotta give it a whirl. You gotta move slow. It's a long con. No one can know what's happening. Just gotta be like, so, how long have you lived here for? Nice. That's a lamp. And then like, so family-wise, mom and dad how you feeling about that? These are cups. These are cups that look nicer over here. And I'm like, how much do you pay for rent? Tell me how much you pay for rent. This is the fridge. I'm moving the fridge. A lot of people think that your fridge has to go in like the designated fridge square in the kitchen. Not me. Let's turn this place on its fucking head. Imagine middle of the night waking up for a snack. Woo! So wild. That'll be nice for you. And then by the end of the night, it's like 4 a.m. I'm the last one there. I got like a hand on the knob, taking a look around, and I'm like, take care of this place. And then I leave. And you're like, who was that? Who was that gal? Who invited that gal? And then you just hear from the alley, sarahhennessy@gmail.com. Email me. Send me an email. I love to receive emails. And I'm not afraid to compose new. Let's boot up the machine. Let's boot up the machine and have a time. I'm not a very good driver. I'm like a really bad driver. Like, check out my impression of driving. I think that's accurate. Don't make me do it. I do have a driving instructor, though, because I have a growth mindset. I want to get good. But it's interesting. My driving instructor always gets really apprehensive every time I tell him I'm just going to have fun with it. He's like, yeah, no, well, eh. I'm like, what are you doing after this? I want to get to know this guy, man. I'm like, there's 2 pedals, right? And he's like, yeah, gas and brake. I'm like, well, which one's your favorite? I think I like him more than a friend. Some people like have crushes on like their boss or coworker. Not me, driving instructor. I'm like, why don't we pull over and start a family? I took the most magnificent bus ride the other day. I'll tell you what was happening. I was just safely in the back, feeling confident in my driver. Couldn't believe how masterfully he was just working that wheel, palming the turns. I was like, we are having a wonderful ride. Like, I just don't think I could ever be a bus driver like that, you know? Like, if I was a bus driver, I don't know, man. I'd probably make it all about myself and just, like, drive by all my old apartments. I'd be like, well, here we go. And people are like, I have to get to work. And I'm like, no, listen. I lived there in 2012. And I had a really weird roommate. And somebody else is like, I'm bleeding, please. I'm like, I know the American healthcare system is fucked up. And you're bleeding on this bus trying to get to the hospital, but I stayed there till 2016. What was I thinking? Don't let me become a bus driver. My favorite type of Uber ride is definitely the kind where you don't say a word the whole time. Do you find that so relaxing? It's just like an understood thing. Silence. Golden. Lovely. But what I like to do at the end of one of those rides is when I'm getting out of the car, I go, wish me luck. And the driver's like, why? What? Whoa. And I dip my head back and I go, I'm a surgeon. And then he just like watches me through the rearview mirror being like, what, are you kidding me? I had her pegged for PR. That's nuts. But look at her go, just straight into that McDonald's. That's where I clean my scalpels. I would like to think that surgeons and comedians have a lot in common, though, you know? That we both tell ourselves to just have fun out there before the big moment. Imagine, right before surgery, you're going under, and he's like, I'm just gonna have fun with your spleen today. Let's take this thing for a walk. And you're like, ah! Sleep time. Sleep time, feeling fine. I was thinking about blanket forts. Do you guys remember making blanket forts when you were a kid? Wasn't that so fun? You like pull down the pile of blankets and then you unfurl them and you put them all different levels, you know, and then you're just like creeping around inside and you're like, what's the password? No, just kidding, get in here, get in here. We need everybody in here. And then you just sort of like lay on your back and you look up at it, and all the light streaming through the designs and the colors, spilling all over the place. It's like, what's my life gonna be like? That was so satisfying, blanket forts. But now, as an adult, I find that I'm like completely satisfied just witnessing like a neatly stacked pile of blankets. I'm like, oh, you guys ever open up a linen closet? Get out of here. That's nice. Feeling the edges, touching them. Oh my God, the corners, the corners, the corners. This is very cool. And I guess next comes death. That's the next thing for me. Bury me with my blankets, would ya? I got a couple on the go. It's so sick, man. It's so sick. I was walking down the street the other day, classic scenario. I was walking with one of my friends, and we couldn't believe all the garbage we were seeing everywhere, right? She was like, oh my God, look it over here, look it over there, look, oh my God, it's getting lateral, there's so much garbage. And I was kind of like in a good mood to balance it out, and I was like, it's sunny, you know? And she's like, it makes it smell, you know? We turn a corner, she sees something she really didn't like, she's like, oh no, what kind of sick fuck leaves that out there? Who was unbegged for anyone to see? And I was like, oh no, what is it? And I like go to look at what she's pointing at, and I'm expecting something super grody, right? Like I'm like, it's gonna be like a diaper, like diaphragm scenario, like with like, you know, like a syringe and like a little scroll, and you unscroll it and it says something mean just about you, and you're like, what? How do you know? And you like roll back up, and you're like, ah. So I look over, and do you know what's there? It's just like a perfectly placed pair of men's dress shoes. And she was like, oh man, that's messed. I'm like, that is not messed. It just looks like a nice guy disappeared. I got ghosted. Can you believe it? I know, it's nuts. But the cool thing about it is like, I'm participating in society. Like that's part of it that I'm like, okay, guess we all have a story now. But the weird thing about being ghosted in this scenario is that we're still looking at each other's Instagram stories all the time, which I find oddly comforting. Like we're waving at each other from across a lake. Like that's what it feels like. Like he's just like, hi. And I'm like, hey. He's like, hello. And I'm like, hi. So I guess I'm not going to rule out marriage. Everyone has their fucked up origin story. And ours is penetration and then radio silence. Pretty cool. Don't tell anybody I said that. My one friend told me her ghosting story, and it was this. She said, he spent the night, I made him a morning smoothie, and then I never heard from him again. And I was like, you made him a morning smoothie? Ow! Like that, like why does that detail kill me so much? I'm like, oh no, you did? Oh, shit. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, what did you put in it? And she's like, banana. I'm like, okay. Fine. What happened after that? She's like, berries. I'm like, fresh or frozen? She's like, frozen. I'm like, okay. And she's like, yep, that was that. I'm like, no, it wasn't. What else did you put in there? She's like, greens. I'm like, oh no. That's where you went wrong. That's like you gave him too much. You're like, I care about how your day unfolds. I care about you on like a molecular level. I want you to be fueled. And I'm like, that's awful. Oh, God. They should have a plan B for that shit. You know what I'm talking about? What do I mean by that? I don't know. But I do know that he had one eye on the blender and one eye on the fucking door. That's okay. She didn't know. She's young. A lot of my pals are young. It's nice. I'll tell you about the younger generations. Everybody's fucking. Everyone's doing it with their bodies on each other's bodies. It's happening. It's for real. I always have a lot of questions like, how? My one friend, she said that she is this one person that comes to town, a DJ, whoa. And they always do it, and then she stays over in his hotel room every time. Like, and she's like, yeah, and then he gets up and he leaves, and then I get to sleep in the beautiful hotel room. I'm like, that sounds romantic. She's like, yeah. She's like, one thing, though, that's kind of weird is sometimes he, like, leaves me $20. And she's like, yeah, but I feel like a whore, but I'll take it. And then I'm like, yeah, that's not for you. That's for housekeeping. Okay? I know that you're so young, you've never never had to like pay for a hotel room for yourself, but that's definitely for someone in their family. But I don't want to like give myself away. I'm like, wow, isn't it crazy that high school just happened? That shit's sick. I am not much of a dater, actually. I don't go on a lot of dates because sometimes when someone's just nice to me, I immediately picture the rest of my life with them. And then I'm like, well, that's enough for me. See you later. I saw what would happen, and it was just okay. But I do like relationship podcasts. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like hot tips and tricks for a beautiful relationship. Sometimes I'll just be, chopping veggies, listening to my program. And I got the hottest tip last time this came in. I gotta share it. They said, one thing you gotta do if you want a beautiful, like, grounded relationship is to try a thing called eye gazing. And that is where you and your partner look into each other's eyes, undisturbed, for 20 minutes. And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna try that. I was like, that is really good information. But how am I gonna, fold that into a first date? How the heck am I gonna fold that into a first date? And then I remembered, oh my God, I'm an actor. I'll act like I have something in my eye. Picture this. I'm like, oh my God, that was so much fun fishing. Or whatever we did. But oh no, there's something in my eye. Oh no, this is so embarrassing on a first date, no less. Can you believe it? What's in my eye? Oh no. And then they're like, let me take a look. I'm like, okay, yeah. If you could take a look and see what's in my eye. And they're like, yeah, let me take a look. I'm like, yeah, take a look. Take a deep, long, lasting look. What do you see? What do you see in there? And then they're like, look up, look down. I'm like, no, it's right in the middle. It's right in like the areola of the eye. You see, are you catching anything in there? And they're like, I don't see anything. I'm like, you don't see anything? Nothing? And they're like, nope. And I'm like, check, please! I'm hitting the bricks, asshole! You're over! You're over! Is that how you get out of a date? Who needs dating? So I do take yoga classes, and I kind of realize this sick fuck thing about myself. I take yoga classes kind of for the possibility of maybe a touch. I don't know, because yoga classes have the most supportive, long, assisted touches that you're like, what's this next level? It's kind of cool. But you never know whether you're going to get one. That's the problem. If you've ever been to yoga class, at the beginning, they always say, everyone, close your eyes. If you do not want to be touched today in this session, move an arm or a leg, and I know not to touch you. I couldn't be more still. I'm like a deer in the woods that just heard a branch crack. I'm like... Then they're like looking around the room, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to close my eyes. It's like my eyes just ate like a scone each. They're so dry. I want to blink, but I don't want to ruin this. Oh God! Ah! And then they begin the class. I'm like, here we go. Now today's my lucky day. But then it just turns into the craziest game of duck, duck, goose. They're walking along in the aisles. You're bending, you're stretching. You're like, oh please, please. And it's like duck, duck. Duck, and it's me, and then they're like, duck. I'm like, oh, come on, man! Is everybody else here your friend? What's up, man? Lay hands upon me! Lay hands upon me! It's like they can tell I use ClassPass. That's a good punchline. Oh, shit! Oh, my God. Did you just think of that? That's crazy. Hey, so after the show, when we're doing our one-on-ones, I don't know whether you guys knew that was going to happen, but it will. When we're really getting to know each other, if you feel like a yawn coming on, just give it to me. Just give it to me. I'm sick and tired of talking to people after the shows, and then all of a sudden, you see the yawn hit their eyes, and then they clinch. their cheeks shut. No, my mouth is gonna be shut. And then you can just, everything's rippling like a symphony of the face. A symphony of the face! And then nostrils are going, you know, it's like pretend this isn't happening. And I'm like, have to act like you're not like, and I'm working overtime. Like, isn't it crazy that I've never been to Europe? And you're like, yeah! Oh, yeah. Just open it up, okay? Let me see in, okay? Let me see down the throat. That's how I know when in hell you'll die. Bit of a party trick. I mean, come on. My back's already killing me from carrying this damn conversation. I'm having fun. I'm just having fun now. Oh, I gotta come. She's having too much fun. She's gotta chill. She's got to chill. Oh, I know. So I moved here 4 years ago to New York City, and I had the most quintessential New York experience when I first got here. It was my first winter. Picture it. I had a cold. This was pre-pandemic, so a cold and a flu was like the little black dress of illnesses. And I was like, I need to get a humidifier. Ever been there? Oh, yeah. So I dip out to get a humidifier, and when I'm coming back, I stop at this set of lights. Wasn't feeling well at all. Oh, wasn't feeling well. This guy looks at me up and down, and he says, a beautiful machine for a beautiful girl. And I was like, huh? Husband! Are you my husband? Is this a New York meet cute? What are you doing? What's going on? Lights changed, he was gone. I'm back there every night at dusk. Got a stack of old headshots looking to get rid of those. That's love, baby. So I have a really great therapist. I love my therapist so much. Oh my gosh, I love her so much. Like, we get along so well. Like, everything she says, I'm like, did you just think of that? Or did I, like, bring it out in you? Like, it feels unique. It feels special. Like, we've really got something going on. It's so fun. Like, we were just actually talking earlier today, which is so fun and cool and awesome. Like, we did have an appointment, but it was so nice. Sometimes we're having such an amazing time talking that I think, and I look at what she's doing, and I go, I could be a therapist. Like, it's just being really cool and listening. I could totally do that. Like, you guys are probably watching me do stand-up being like, bitch, let me get up there. I'm gonna talk about this fucking muffin I had the other day. Not a problem. Well, that's how I feel about therapists. But if I was a therapist, I would have different technique. I think my technique if I had a therapist would be very truth or dare. Imagine! Oh, you come in and you're like, eh. I'm like, not a word, get on the chaise lounge. And you get on there and I'm like, what's it gonna be? Truth or dare? Truth or dare? And you're like, like, pick now, truth or dare? And you're like, truth. I'm like, what's really going on? Then you have to tell me. Because you picked truth. And then if you pick dare, I'm like, oh, okay, dare, you say. And then I go into like the mental Rolodex of all the fucked up shit you've ever told me. And I'm like, ooh, of like the workplace scenarios, the person that was weird to you once, family. And I cook it all up in my cauldron of therapy. And I'm like, here I go, I got the perfect dare for you. And you're like, what is it? And I'm like, I want you to go straight home. I want you to stand in front of a mirror and open up a window. You gotta have the mirror beside the window. All right? I want you to take off all your clothes. I want you naked as a goddamn jaybird. And I want you to look at yourself in your own eyes, and I want you to scream as loud as you can, kind of out the window as well. I like what I'm looking at! I like it! Don't you think I could, like, solve problems? I'm stoked. I had my therapist actually said something to me this one time that made me kind of regret, like, trusting her so much. She said this thing to me that I was like, oh, fuck, who are you? I'll fill you in. I was talking to her about how I felt really guilty that I wasn't calling my parents very much. I'm like, I should call them. I feel so bad. I'm a bad person. I should call my parents. She's like, you don't have to feel so guilty. You don't have to feel bad. I'm like, I don't? She goes, no, you don't have to call them. Just send pears. And I was like, what? And then she's like, just send pears. And I was like, holy shit. And then my brain just went to my parents' house in Port Hope, Ontario, Canada. Ding dong, let's get the door. Who's there? My dad opens it up, speechless. My mom is like, who is it? And then he's like, it's just a basket of pears. And they're like, what? And then they like bring it in. They're like, what is this? This is too many pears. There's only 2 of us. This is a lot of pears. And then like, oh God, there's a card. It's from Sara. Why would she do this? Why would she do this to us? Oh gosh, let's call her up. And I'm like, hello? And then they're like, we have the pears. We have the bushel of pears. And I'm like, well, did you try them? They're like, no, we didn't try them. We didn't understand them. What do they mean? And they mean hi. They mean hello. I got a lot of work to do, babe. Yeah, and then I Venmo'd her like $150. Cha-ching! It's really nice. It's nice. So I'm an actor. Anybody else? Yeah. Honestly, y'all should give it a whirl. You should act. Acting is easy. They don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that acting is a cinch. But it is. It's just doing stuff. It's just doing stuff, and people are like, yeah, you did it. Like, I think anyone can act. Like, don't you think it's really method, the way that we all pretend we're asleep to fall asleep? You know? We're all like, here I go. So in a way, we all went to Juilliard. I'd like to think. I have an acting teacher. And I love that fucking dynamic. Acting teachers are always like bending down and getting right into your face, you know? They're like, I know everything about you, you know? It's kind of thrilling. They're like, I know everything about you. I'm like, you don't know everything about me. And they're like, I know everything about you. And I'm like, no, you don't, you know? Like, he has no idea that he's for sure my emergency contact. And I'm walking through busy streets just begging to get hit. I think the perfect thing would be to have him as my solo audience when I'm on my deathbed. Oh, I get hit, I'm in the hospital. And he's like right beside me, and he's like, why am I here? And I'm just like, do I look cool? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, sick. My final performance. It's pretty cool. Do you guys want to see my favorite type of professor? Yeah. I'm going to bring out the stand for this. Can you believe it? Hold on. And now I'm really going to do it. All right, y'all. I want you guys to go crazy. This is my impression of my favorite type of professor. Are you into that? Okay. Here we go. Why? Where? How? When? Who? Anyone? Okay, I'll give you a hint. You. Here. now. Why? Because you must. Because air is into your lungs and back out again, is it not? Because blood is coursing through your veins, is it not? If you can't handle this, there's the fucking door. Feel free, be my guest, leave. Oh, you're all still here. This auditorium of 500 people have remained seated. Looking to learn, looking to live. All right, we're gonna be here for a while. Somebody open up your cell phone and order a quesadilla for the room. How's 500 people gonna split a single quesadilla? Well, if you knew the answer, you wouldn't fucking be here. Somebody open up your app and order a quesadilla for the room. Just turns into the hungry professor at the end. Just a bit of I'm a professor with a hankering by the end. Oh my God, I love the arts. Do you guys love it? This is dope. I'm very spiritual, though. A lot of people don't know that about me. I'm a very spiritual person. I meditate a couple times a day. Yeah, I do think I'm better than you. But sometimes when I hit that second meditation time, I can't do it raw dog. Like, I need to throw on a guided. You know what I'm talking about? I got put on an audio guided meditation, which is kind of good when you're not up for just doing it yourself, because it's sort of like, I don't know, lying down in the back of the limo of your mind and saying, just drive. Just drive. But the thing is with guided meditations is they're usually body scans. They take you through your entire body and they help you relax. But I can never really relax until like midway through, because I never know whether they're gonna like acknowledge my privates or not. You know? You never know if they're gonna say it. It's a real Russian roulette in the meditation game. Who's gonna talk about it? Some say, but some don't. So there I am lying down trying to relax, and they're like, breathe into your toes. I'm like, okay. And then they're like, breathe into your shins. I'm like, oh, doing it. And then they're like, breathe into right below your kneecap. I'm like, you're killing me. They're like, breathe into your knees. I'm like, whoo! And they're like, above your knees. I'm like, oh my fucking God. Are you gonna say it or what? And then they're like, breathe into your hips. I'm like, phew! I don't know what I'm scared of, but I'm glad they didn't say it. If I was one of those people who made a guided meditation myself, I think I would just put a disclaimer off the top and say, I will be saying labia. Crowd goes wild. During the beginning part of the scariest part of the pandemic for me personally, I went back to Canada and I had to quarantine at my parents' house, Bob and Jane Hennessy, for 2 weeks. I'm not sure if you've ever had to just quarantine for 2 weeks straight with just my parents who are in their mid-70s. But it's interesting because they have this thing now where in our relationship where they just offer me sleeping pills. That's just where we're at. They're like, hey, hon, you want a pill? You want a pill to help sleep tonight? Did you want a pill? And I'm like, what? Hell yeah, Mom and Dad, let's do it. Let's fucking sleep. Let's sleep. Let's get a good night rest. I love it. Hook me up. Oh my God, let's start it. Just kidding. Let's have a nice pill. Thank you. But then the hits, they just kept on coming. Like the next night, they're like, oh, sweetheart, did you really want a pill tonight? Did you maybe want one? And I'm like, what's going on? You know? Like, where was this star treatment when I was an up-to-no-good teen? Do you know how much less of a bitch I would have been if I was well-rested? And they do know. That's why they're doling them out, and I'm lapping them up, baby. Let's sleep. But when I was back staying with them, it was nuts, because every night, my dad would always have this personal bowl of party mix. He's always like just enjoying it while his little bowl of party mix while he was watching the news. And at first I was like, okay. And then I was like, yeah, I guess it's pretty fun that I'm home with that party mix. But then after a while I was like, Dad, wait a minute, do you have party mix every single night? He's like, huh? Yeah, I do. I'm like, you can't have party mix every single night. It's just Tuesday, And he's like, I'm retired. I'm like, Dad, seriously, I care about you. Do you know that whatever you eat turns into your cells? Oh gosh, I don't want you to turn into a bowl of party mix. I care about you. You can't do it anymore. And he's like, okay. And then I went to Toronto, and when I came back to visit them a little while later, I opened up the snack cupboard. Everyone has one. No party mix. Oh, he listened to me. He cared about what I thought. No party mix. Nope. Just bags of Ruffles, pretzels, Doritos, barbecue peanuts, cheese doodles, deconstructed party mix. Even hyper than before. Sneaky dad. Oh, what a fun person. That was too wholesome, right? That's too wholesome of me. No, guys, seriously. I know I seem like a really sweet person talking about my family and everything, but I did come here to fuck. That's the truth of tonight. Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Show yourself! Show yourself! This is dope. I guess it's time to wrap up soon. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's right. So, some people call it a big closer. I call it entering the hospice portion of my set. Thank you all so much for being here. You guys have been giving a lot of beautiful laughs for the big album. People are going to listen and be like, oh, I'm right there. I'm in fucking Life World. The toilets are weird. Yeah, there's a bucket. There's a bucket above her. Will it fall on her during her big moment? Will she get fucking carried, man? But instead of blood, it's just street sludge. What's gonna happen? Let's go crazy. So I'm really excited. We're all gonna be in people's ears. So a little while ago, I was on a plane. Sarah, get over yourself. No. I was on a plane. And it was mid-flight, my favorite time. And I was just there enjoying the ride when the flight attendant comes up to me, only me, on the flight and says, excuse me, miss? And I was like, yeah? And she said, I'm gonna have to move you to another seat to balance out the plane for landing. And I was like, what? And everybody takes their earbuds out and they're like, what's going on? She's like, we're gonna have to move you to another seat to balance out the plane for landing. And I was like, I love that you think my confidence can handle this. But I'm pretty obsessed with coming across as easygoing. So I was like, okay, cool, sure, dude, where do you want me to sit? Picked up my 3 knapsacks. And she's like, 47F. And then I began the longest walk of my life. Everybody's looking back. What did she do? Ooh, trouble. I was walking back there and I was thinking, this isn't a small plane. This is a true plane. Why? Like, everybody always says that you make a difference, and it's like, sure, man. But then I'm like, do I? Is this how I find out? Thinking about all the different accumulative weights on the plane. You got the front of the plane. Whoa, it's so heavy and so hard. And then behind there, you got the pilot and that other guy beside him. Who is that guy? Then throughout the cabin, you have everybody's cubby holes that's filled with all their books and their tops. That weighs something. Back of the plane, drink cards, party, weighs a lot. I walked by the wings of the plane. I thought those were balancing it out. Nope. It's your gal. So I go back to my new seat. There's an older man and an older woman. I had to sit in the middle between them. And it was so strange because none of us really said anything to each other. I just appeared. But I liked the dynamic because I was sort of like, I'm basically their daughter now. And I know that we care about each other. Kind of nuts. So I fastened my seatbelt and we began our descent. And I gotta tell you, that landing, butter. Oh! It was the smoothest I've ever felt. It was like a butterfly just sitting on a lily pad. So nice. No applause that day. That was kind of weird. I guess I was just a little bit of in-flight drama. And they forgot about me. That's okay. Not all heroes wear capes, you know? Some of us just have tote bags filled with Lara bars. Let me know if you need one. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.